Is this going to be one of the biggest weeks in crypto's history? It's certainly got all the ingredients for it. In this video today, I'm going to go over all of the macro stuff, including traditional markets, talking about the Ripple case versus the SEC, the Binance case versus the SEC, and also take a look at the charts, both BTC, ETH, a little bit of the traditional markets, and some altcoins as well. If you do enjoy our content, please do consider liking and subscribing. Really do appreciate it. Really does help us out massively. Thank you to all those that liked and commented on the video on Friday. Really, really well received. Video did really well, so thank you very much for that. So with all that done, let's get into stuff. As always, we'll go through the news first and then we'll get onto the charts. So let's take a look at what we've got coming up this week. You've probably already seen it all over social media and maybe other YouTube videos, but it is a huge, huge week this week. So as you can see, this week's major US economic reports and Fed speakers. Wow, okay, so CPI coming out on Tuesday. As we know, that is huge in terms of tracking inflation. If we get a hot CPI print, that is going to put pressure on the Fed to potentially raise interest rate hikes. And normally we have a couple of weeks between CPI and the FOMC. Not this week. We have got it the day after. So straight away we roll straight into the FOMC. At the moment, it's about a 75% chance that the rates are going to stay the same, with about 25% chance of another hike. So it'll be very interesting. Obviously, that is all data dependent on what the CPI comes in at. We've also got PPI on Wednesday, and as we've talked about before, that is producers' price index, so what inflation is looking like for producers. And then later on in the week, we've got initial jobless claims on Thursday. And then we've also got some Fed speakers later in the week as well. So not only is that a lot going on there in terms of the traditional stuff, we've got some other stuff outside of the US. So some of the stuff is the same here, as you can see, US CPI, FOMC, etc. But we've got some Eurozone stuff. We've got Eurozone CPI on Friday, Japan rate decision on Friday as well. And as I say, that US initial jobless claims, I think that's around Thursday. ECB rate, so Eurozone rate decision as well on Thursday. So it is all going off this week in the traditional market. Now, not only have we got all that going on, we've got some crypto-specific stuff as well. So as you can see here, the Ripple and SEC case, there is a big event happening tomorrow, which is June 13th, which is the unsealing of the Hinman files or materials. The SEC have been trying their best to keep these files from being released to the public. You can read the article here. This is on Cointelegraph, but that is becoming public tomorrow, so that could be huge. If Ripple win the case against the SEC, I mean, wow, that would be a big monumental moment for the industry, and really does put out a lot of hope for all of the most recent projects and coins that have been declared as security by the SEC as well. So yeah, could be a turning of the tide. We'll have to wait and see. On top of that, as I say, we've also got the SEC case against Binance. So the SEC is suing Binance US. So this is a article from Forbes, and if we scroll to the bottom, which is the important bit I wanted to show you. So a hearing on an SEC request to freeze the assets of Binance US is set for June 13th at 2 p.m. Washington time, and again, that is tomorrow. So tomorrow is a huge, huge day. You've got the Ripple SEC case, you've got the Binance SEC case, and as well as I just talked about, we've got CPI as well. So just a big, big day in terms of the markets. Let's get into the charts then. So let's start with BTC, go higher time frame to lower time frame. Not much difference on the monthly. As you can see, we are still holding that key monthly level of 25.2 support. If we go to the weekly, we have broken new ground. So I was talking in the last couple of weeks about the fact we haven't had a weekly close below about 26.6, where we've had these wicks and body closes, but this week we finally did, closing at around just under 26k, I think it was. Closed 25.9. Close enough, but as I say, we do still have that strong support at 25.2k. If we go to the daily, not much has changed. The only thing is that this level of 26.6, this daily range low, has confirmed as resistance where we had these bearish retests here on Thursday, Friday, and dropped lower. But yeah, in the short term, not really much we can get from this until we either break above 26.6 or if we start breaking below that 25.2. But as you can see, 25.2 level, not only is it monthly level, but strong confluence on the daily as well. Look at the amount of taps we've had coming up to this level, and it was also the swing high here back in August 22. So be interesting to see where we go. Obviously, you know, all the events happening this week are going to have some sort of impact, I'm sure. If we go to Ethereum, again, if we start from higher to lower, higher time frame to lower time frame. Now, the thing I've been warning about the past few months, ever since we broke over the top of this monthly level 1721 and then had this big spike up to 2.1k and back down, is that if this rolls over and we get a monthly close below 1721, that is very bearish. That is a big deviation and really opens the door to really target these yearly lows, which I know sounds crazy now, but you know, a lot of alts have already surpassed yearly lows, and as I say, if this deviation does complete, that is a very bearish look for Ethereum. So this 1721 is a very key level to hold. If we go to the weekly, again, slightly new ground broken in terms we finally got a weekly close below 1783, which we had held as a bottom ever since the 27th of March week, where we closed above, and then a couple of taps, or quite a few taps. But as I say, similar to BTC, we do have that big monthly support at 1721, which is still holding us up. And as you can see, confluence on the weekly as well. We've had all these wicks in here and held as support back in March. If we go to the daily, again, not really much we can gather from here. We're still below the weekly, obviously. We've had a bounce off 1721. So in terms of short-term price action, really not much in terms of a technical standpoint. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens with the macro events and how they shape things up. In terms of the next level down for Ethereum, there's this daily level down here at 1635 if we do start breaking below 1721. But as you can see, we've really not had a daily. We had a tiny daily close below it back here on the 27th of March, but apart from that, this level has been very clean. So if we do start to see price action below there, could be a bit of a warning sign. If we take a look at ETH BTC, I've been talking about this the past couple of weeks, and it failed the big test that I talked about, which was 0.07. So we talked about a potential uptrend forming. We've made this higher low here in end of April, start of May. We needed to break this bearish trend line and then break and hold above 0.07 to create a higher high to complement the higher low. But we didn't. Look at that, tapped it perfectly. Equal highs to the 17th of April swing high and rejected off it quite badly, and we've closed back inside this bearish weekly trend line as well, which, I'm going to say again, is quite bearish. If we get below 0.066 again, then I think that it's probably all over in terms of any sort of altcoin rally. The only problem as well we've had is, so Ethereum BTC has been rallying all through May. So the first week of May, all the way through to the last week of May, it was all green candles on ETH BTC. Alts really didn't participate in that rally at all, and then they obviously got smashed last week when we dropped. So yeah, it's not looking good for alts or ETH BTC either. We take a quick look at Bitcoin dominance. As you would expect with ETH BTC dropping, that is starting to push up again. Next target for me is 52%. If we get up there, then that's probably it could well be the top for Bitcoin dominance, and that's where alts finally capitulate and find their lows, because as I say, they're already below their yearly lows, so I'm not sure how much further they can go. But yeah, I think a move up 52% in dominance, that may signal a bottom. We'll just have to wait and see. Time will tell. If we just quickly take a look at the total 2 chart. So you'll remember when we were looking at a potential alt season back here in March, and I said that this monthly candle close above 600 billion was vital. We needed that before an alt season was confirmed, and as you can see, big wick, rejection, and rolled over. So that is as I say, really important level, and we rejected off that, which has meant it's just been all downhill from alt since then. If we take a look at the weekly as well, coming back down to this support area here of about 500 billion, but in all honesty, we may well come down and hit the yearly lows of this total 2 chart. We'll just have to wait and see, but nothing's stopping it really in terms of support or resistance. Could just be a straight line. As I say, we do have that weekly level here of 500 billion, but if that breaks, then it's definitely exposes the yearly lows. So just watch out for that. I wouldn't be scared of buying alts here. I think you've got some great opportunities. Obviously, do your own research in terms of which altcoins and stuff like that. But in terms of price value, that most of them are at 90-95% down. I think the bottom is fairly close, but just keep some dry powder in case we do go that a little bit lower, as say potentially down to that 400 billion mark on total 2. Let's take a look at traditional markets. S&P at the moment, we've got a monthly candle pushing above that monthly range high resistance of 4327. But as we spoke about before, like with the total 2, what happens if the S&P does something similar to this? Big wick above and then drop down and rolls over. Could well happen, and if that does happen, what's going to happen to crypto? Probably gets dragged down with it. And as I've said the past week or two as well, the VIX is at very, very low levels we've not seen since the COVID crash. If you take a look left, you see where the line meets this candle here, and that is, as I mentioned last week, Feb 2020. So when the VIX is low, look out below. When the VIX is high, it's time to buy. Is the S&P setting up for a big dump? And if it does that drag crypto with it? More than likely. So finally, let's get on to some alts. And as I spoke about last week, or what I've been speaking about the past month or two, is the importance of the 5th of December weekly level. And if that level was lost, then it opens up the range lows. And in most cases, those range lows are the yearly lows. And as I mentioned in Friday's video, I expected alts to hit their yearly lows. I didn't think it'd be that quick. Obviously, what caused the drop over the weekend was an investment fund going bust. And so that obviously meant that there was a lot of illiquid price action over the weekend, and alts bore the brunt of it. But nevertheless, did expect it to happen. Have been warning on this channel for a couple of months now that it could happen with the loss of the 5th December weekly level. So if we take a look at DOT, this is the chart that we've had for the past few months. We said this was pretty bearish, this rejection of the monthly range high, and we've come all the way back down to the range lows. If we go to the weekly, you see the monthly mid-range weekly level was that 5th of December weekly level. Look how important it was. As soon as we got below it, bearish retest, straight back down. And as you can see, we have hit yearly lows. BNB, spoke about this, spoke about the trade that we entered on the Earn Way Learn. Cashed it out a bit early, but I'm not too bothered about that. We targeted the weekly mid-range daily level. But very happy with those profits. We got in all the way up here at the 328s. But again, deviation back inside the weekly range high, and we're coming all the way back down to this weekly range low. We've already breached the yearly lows, which was 241, which I spoke about last week. VeChain, exactly the same. Again, where was the important level? 5th of December weekly level. As soon as we lost that, little deviation straight down to the weekly lows again, which is the yearly lows. We've breached the yearly lows. Near, spoke about this range multiple times. We broke into, so we had a range up here. We broke below that into this lower range, which you can see here, $1.83 being the range high. As soon as we broke into that, it's down to the mid-range, held the mid-range for a few weeks, which again, so the range high was the 5th of December weekly level, as you can see, very important level. Once we broke below that, it was all downhill. Held the mid-range for a little while, and then big drop last week into the weekly range low, which was, again, the yearly lows. And then finally, Matic, talked about how bearish it was that we made that monthly time frame deviation back into the range back in, when was this, April, and all downhill for straight down to the monthly range low and beyond. If we go to the weekly, again, where was the 5th of December weekly level? It was here, clear level, broke down, bearish retest, and a drop. And as you can see, yearly lows were back here. We are well below yearly lows on Matic. So as I said just a minute ago, I wouldn't be scared of buying here. Greed works both ways. Sometimes you can wait too long before pulling the trigger, but what I would definitely say is to keep your eye, or not keep your, well, yeah, keep your eye on the charts, but also keep some dry powder back in case we do go lower. I personally think that alts don't have that much further to go in terms of price for a bottom. However, I think that time is the biggest enemy for investors at the moment. I think that it's going to take a little while for alts to bottom out in time. As I say, a little bit more of a drop in price to really make people capitulate. I think a lot of people would have FOMO'd in these rallies over the past couple of months, and are now feeling the pain now that we've gone even lower than we were when BTC was at 20k, which was the 5th December weekly level, and at yearly lows, and some of them have gone beyond yearly lows, as I've shown with Matic, Near, etc. So I think in terms of price, probably not that much further to go, but time, I think, a little bit more of a drop and then some sideways chop for a couple of months, and then we may well bottom out. But if you're interested in trading, we've got the Learning Crypto premium platform where we've got the Earn While You Learn, and we've just started, or I've just started, a new Cardano ADA challenge where I'm basically going to ride up a leverage long, hopefully from around the bottom all the way back to all-time highs. And I'll just show you that. As you can see, so Ash is also doing a similar version of Polkadot. As you can see, Cardano inverse challenge and Polkadot inverse challenge there. So basically, as I say, it is a low leverage long that we're going to try and ride up to all-time highs. So as you can see, first entry was made the other day over the weekend, doing pretty well, although as I say, I'm expecting lower prices to get an even better entry, but running quite nicely. If you want to follow along with that, we currently have a 14-day free trial and also half price for the first 3 months of Learning Crypto Premium. As I showed you, it's this platform, everything you see on the platform, the Discord, we've got members trades area if you're really into trading. We've got the Earn While You Learn, we've got the inverse challenges, we've got chats, obviously the Discord is instant messaging, etc. So yeah, if you want to give it a go, as I say, 14-day free trial and then half price for your first 3 months as well. So follow the links below and check it out. But in terms of the charts and this week, it's going to be a huge week, as I say. Really looking forward to Friday's video where we get to go over and review everything that happened. Stay safe out there in terms of trading. As I say, it's going to be a volatile week. And in terms of investing, obviously not financial advice, but I think these are some very good levels to start buying if you haven't already, or to bring your average entry down, but definitely leave some dry powder for some potential lower levels as we capitulate over the next few months. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on Friday.